This bag has $40 worth of tech items from Temu, but do they all work and are they even any good to begin with? Let's open it up and find out. First up is this smart video doorbell. This thing has two-way audio, HD night vision, motion detection with real-time notifications, and even a voice changer for when you're using the two-way audio. All of this for only $12.98. And for this one, what I decided to do was just to compare it to my existing doorbell, which what I have now is a wired Eufy smart doorbell. And I just wanted to do this for comparative purposes. Obviously, the features will be different on a wired doorbell that's more expensive, but either way, what I can compare between them is response time, video quality, and audio quality. And I was actually very impressed because I did do a speed test pressing the button on each one of these doorbells and seeing how long it took for me to get a notification on my phone. So it was actually only a difference of a few milliseconds in response time between a cheap and an expensive doorbell. Now for the audio quality, that was actually pretty similar too. I did compare them both so you can hear what both sound like.
This is the audio for the Temu doorbell. This is the audio for the Eufy doorbell.
With the Temu camera, the audio was fairly loud and definitely audible enough for me to understand what was being said. So regardless of whether or not the audio quality is better on the Temu camera, it is usable, most definitely. So that is a good plus too. Now the other part of the audio for the Temu camera would be the fact that there's a voice changer. Now this, although it might be a good idea, did not really work that well for me. What happened when I used the voice changer is I was not able to understand what was being said. I'm not sure if the volume went down or if it just became more mumbly sounding, but when I used the voice changer, it was very difficult to understand what I was saying. So yes, the two-way audio on this doorbell definitely works. There's not much latency, which is good, and I just would make sure not to use the voice changer. Now you do have to download a separate app to use this doorbell with, but I did not have any issues with it. I actually found it pretty useful. It gives you push notifications whenever the doorbell is pressed. You click on the notification to open it up, and you can actually choose whether to answer or to decline speaking with whoever it is that rang the doorbell. If you answer it, it shows up with a live video feed of what's going on, and obviously gives you the ability to talk back and forth with whoever's at the door. The app also does have the functionality of being able to take pictures and record videos within the app too, which is a plus. You also have the option to switch it to audio only, so if you don't want to drain the battery by using the camera when you're speaking back and forth, you press that button to turn the camera off, just speak with audio. However, that does bring up a good point because one of the downsides I found with this doorbell is the fact that I could not find a way to view the live feed without the doorbell being pressed. So I'm not sure if that's a normal feature when it comes to battery-powered doorbells, but at least with my wired doorbell, I can view the live feed at any time. But the doorbell does have included storage. So whenever it's pressed, if you don't have the ability to answer right away, it does still save a picture of whoever pressed the doorbell, which is nice. Now when it comes to video quality, the video quality on this is usable. So it may not be the best video quality you've ever seen, but I do still have the ability to make out characteristics of whoever's walking up to the door, and it is kind of backlit based on the way that my front porch is set up. But even with that being said, you can still see what's in the dark areas as well. So even though this isn't the best quality, like my Eufy camera has 2K resolution, the Temu doorbell is absolutely still usable, and it does not have a lot of the same issues that some other cheap cameras have, like low resolution, low frame rate, or a lot of motion blur causing you not to be able to really see anything. So overall, for only $12 or $13 to get a battery-powered smart camera that gives you push notifications in real time, two-way audio and video, I think this is a great pick, and I definitely would recommend it if you're looking for a budget option on a smart video doorbell. Next up is the smart wall plug. Now this plug is built into the Tuya Smart Life platform, meaning you get all the functionality of really any smart plug. That means you can use it for automations, turning on and off remotely, or turning it on and off with a schedule or a timer. It's very easy to use with the app, or you can just integrate it with your smart voice assistant like Alexa to turn it on and off with your voice. Echo, turn on Temu plug. This smart plug costs $4.98. For $4.98, I got a wall plug that really was equivalent to any of the other wall plugs that I have in my home currently. The way that I use my smart plugs is really just for decoration, so I don't need them to be overkill or too smart for what I need them for. Really, I just need a way to turn something on or off that's not smart. So in my house, I use this for things like salt rocks or wax burners. And seasonally, if I put some Christmas or Halloween lights up inside my house, it's a great way to use them there too. But with this smart plug, really it did exactly what I needed it to. It was very easy to use and to set up on my phone, and it was actually very quick when it came to response time when I turned it on and off. It was really almost instant, so I was very impressed by the lack of latency in turning the switch on and off. It was very functional, pretty solid in the way it was built, and again, in my eyes, with the way I use it, it is equivalent to name brand wall plugs that I've used at a very much lower price. Next up is a smart light switch. I really like this one mainly because it looks so cool and just so different from any light switch I've seen before. It has a tempered glass front and it is touch control, so you don't have to physically move anything up or down like you do with a normal switch. You just touch right on the button to turn your light on and off. And you get the same functionality as any other smart switch. It also requires no neutral wire. So if you live in an older house or you don't have a neutral wire with your switches, that's no problem. That is something to consider that I did not consider though. So make sure you know whether or not you need a neutral wire. And this futuristic smart switch is $8.99. So this is one I was very excited to try because it looks pretty futuristic. I love the fact that it didn't have any physical buttons and that it was just touch activated. So if you've ever put in a smart wall switch before, the process is exactly the same. You unscrew your old one, you plug in your new one with the same wiring and put it in. The issue that I ran into, unfortunately, is I did not read the product description good enough when I bought this on Temu. And I didn't realize that this was one that I bought that does not require a neutral wire. My house does have a neutral white wire. Even when I had the light switch off, it was actually still on, but just dimmer. So when I turned it on, it got brighter. When I turned it off, it got dimmer. It never actually turned off. But again, this was my fault. And even though I ordered the wrong device, after I installed it, it was able to turn on and off with ease at the simple touch of my finger. It made a nice click sound when I did that too. Overall, just aesthetically, the way it sounds and the way it looks, I thought it was great. It also had a blue LED light in there to signify whether or not it was connected to your Wi-Fi. With the app, it was almost instant when I turned it on or off, so that was a plus for me for sure. This is something I definitely would recommend. Just make sure that you read the product description and order one that's actually appropriate for what you need in your house. Next up is the one I'm really excited to try out, which is a mini camera. It claims to have a whopping 720p resolution, motion detection, remote live viewing, and night vision. And it's pretty versatile. The back of it is actually magnetic, so you can stick it to most metal surfaces. And it does come with a mounting attachment too, so it magnetizes to the back and you can use it to have sticky tape on a non-metal surface. This camera was $5.98. Now for the pros of this camera, the app was pretty functional. You can take pictures or record video while you're live viewing the camera, which is pretty nice. So this thing does work. It's very small. And it's pretty versatile based on its size, so you can kind of put it wherever you want to. The issue that I have with it is that it's very zoomed in. Maybe the other way of saying that is that the FOV, or field of view, is very small. So my goal originally was to use this mini camera and compare it to what I already have with a Wise Cam, since that's a pretty cheap option for a smart camera. I put them both in the same spot, which is up in the corner of my kitchen, in the hope that I could see both my kitchen and my living room at the same time, and then go off of that to see whether or not you could see everything in the house that I wanted to be able to see. So with the Wise camera, I put it up in the corner above my fridge, and it did basically exactly what I wanted it to. But then when I put this mini camera next to it, it basically just showed our countertop or just the Arcadia door, depending on where I pointed it. Again, it really felt like there was a digital zoom and the camera was just zoomed in as far as it could go. I could not get it to zoom out though, trust me, I tried. So unfortunately, for that reason alone, I was not really able to find a good spot in my house to use this. I even tried to put it on the countertop where my stove is to see if maybe at least I could see the kitchen and our living room from a different angle, but it's just so zoomed in, you can't really see the sides of the kitchen, and I just really couldn't find a way to make it functional in my house. The other issue that I had with this camera was the frame rate. So while everything was still, the video quality wasn't the best, but I wouldn't expect it to be for a camera that's only $6. But whenever there was movement, the frame rate is so low that it just kind of looks like a big blob of motion blur. The same happened when I walked in front of the camera or really had any motion or movement going on in front of it. So yeah, unfortunately, I would not recommend this one. I would say this one is pretty much just too good to be true. Now we have a smart home IR controller or a universal remote. This device has a lot of functionality, the main one being that you can use it to control any infrared or IR controlled device. Most of the devices in your home that are controlled by a remote are using IR. It's just a small infrared light that isn't visible to the human eye. You can see it on camera. The purpose of this device is to eliminate the need for you to have different remotes for every device in your house. It's, again, a universal remote, and it sends out IR signals 360 degrees. So if you place it in a central location, this can send out an IR signal to anything in your room. That includes mainly things like TVs, speakers, ceiling fans, and lighting, but there are way more types of devices that this can control. Again, anything with IR. And it is on the same Tuya Smart Life platform. This device also has built-in humidity and temperature sensors, which can be used to incorporate into automations. I paid $5.48 for this device. I love the idea of this product, and I was actually really excited to try it out. I've heard great things about similar products from other smart home YouTubers like Paul Hibbert. Unfortunately, I just could not get this product to work. Now, before we go into that, because it may just be an issue on my end, there are some good benefits to this product regardless. It's built into the Tuya Smart Life platform, so again, for that reason, you have great app functionality. It's very easy to add it to the Smart Life app. And with that being said, it's very easy to go in and adjust the settings or control it how you'd like to. It's also very small, so if you're looking for something that has a small footprint that can do the functionality that this is supposed to do, that's a great reason to get it too. But really, again, the issue that I was having, I actually tried this with 3 different types of products, 3 different remotes, and I just couldn't get it to work on any of them. And to be honest with you, I don't know if this is my fault. Again, it's an IR controller, so maybe the issue is that the remotes that I was using aren't IR, maybe they're RF remotes, I really just don't know. I tried it with a ceiling fan remote, a remote that controls a Galaxy or Starlight projector that we have in my son's room, and even a remote that controls a small LED moon lamp that we bought from Temu. The way that this is supposed to work is you go into the app, you add this IR controller to the Smart Life app, and then you should be able to point the remote that you want to use at your IR controller and tell it which buttons you're pressing, so that it can then send that same signal to your device to turn it on or off or adjust whatever button you pressed. For whatever reason, no matter what device and what remote I tried, the IR sensor just wasn't picking it up. I don't know if it's my fault, but either way, this is something I really can't recommend at this point, at least not for the products that I used it on, because it just wasn't working for me. And lastly, we have this smart LED light strip. As you can tell, this is RGB. It says it does over 16 million colors. It does come with a USB connector, as does most tech devices these days, so you do have to find a plug or a USB to plug it into. And it has the same adhesive backing that you'd expect on any light strip. And using the app, you'll have different lighting scenes that you can choose. You can control the color and brightness, and even has a music responsive mode with a microphone, so it automatically reacts to the music that you're playing. This one only cost me $1.49. Now, I don't think that's the regular price. This one actually was supposed to be a free item on one of my previous Temu orders, but I made a mistake and accidentally added 2 free items to the order, so I did end up paying for this one, not the price that it's showing at now. So I either got it when it was on sale, or for some reason, since I added it as a free item, it was discounted. And this smart LED light strip was very functional and pretty much just as good as any of the other light strips I have in my house for the way that I use them. As far as features go, this light strip pretty much has the same features as any other light strip that I've used before. Again, you can download an app to control it all via your phone, and within that app you have functionality like changing the color. You can either use the gradient wheel or just select preset colors. Making any adjustments was almost instant, so it's very fast response time. It also has a whole slew of different lighting scenes too. So you can either have it set to static colors, you can have it jump between different colors, or have it gradually change between one color to the next. So the lighting scenes, this is my favorite part of really any light strip. It adds a lot of ambience to a room, so this is a great feature too. There is also a music responsive mode, and this one didn't really work in the way that I expected it to. With the music mode, I thought that it would just be listening through your microphone to whatever music you have playing and then responding appropriately. But actually with this one, it comes with built-in music that you can play that's programmed to change the light strip as the music plays. This caught me so off guard, and I thought it was really funny because it had Christmas songs and just some other random music that you can play and have the light strip react to. Now, this isn't a bad feature by any means, it just surprised me. And if you like the music that they offer in the app, you may as well use it because it was interesting. But going off of that note, there is also a microphone mode, which is what I was expecting with the music mode. The microphone mode just listens in through your phone's mic and responds to whatever audio cues are coming in. Interesting. The light is reacting to my voice. One downside is that this light strip, although it does have smart functionality, does not really have smart home integration. So again, you can control it with the app via your phone, but you cannot really connect it to any of the smart home assistants like Alexa or HomeKit. So if you're wanting to use a light strip within automations or have it be a part of your smart home where you can tell your voice assistant to turn it on or off, or set schedules without using an app, it will not be able to do that. But really, I wouldn't expect it to have all those types of features, especially not for $1.49. For the price that I paid for this is actually really the best price I've ever paid for a light strip that has the functionality that this one has. And again, it's 16.4 feet, it's very long for the price. It has an adhesive backing on it too, so you don't have to worry about buying any tape separately. And the other thing to note too, that is pretty much a feature on all smart light strips, this one is also cuttable. So you'll see every so often on the light strip, there's a spot where it marks that you can cut the LED. So if you do have a specific spot where you're trying to put it and you want to cut it to size, you can absolutely do so. So overall, I absolutely would recommend this product to you, especially for the price that I got it at. You really can't beat it.